Good afternoon, my dear students. Welcome to chapter number 7, Structural Organization in Animals. In this chapter, we are going to discuss following topics, that is animal tissues, morphology and anatomy of earthworm, morphology and anatomy of cockroach, morphology and anatomy of frog. But due to this pandemic situation, 30% syllabus has been reduced. So as per that, from this topic, morphology and anatomy of cockroach is deleted portion. But earthworm and frog we are going to study. Now we'll start with the first point, that is animal tissues. So you know what is cell. Cell, it is the building block or basic unit of the any organism. Then next, tissue. The group of cells is called as tissue. So the definition of tissue is here. A tissue is a group of similar cells having a specific function and origin. It is a group of cells and all the cells, they are carrying out a specific function and they have the specific origin, that is called as tissue. So these animal tissues are broadly classified into 4 types. Which are those 4 types? Epithelial tissues, connective tissues, muscular tissues and neural tissues. One by one, now we are going to study. Number 1, epithelial tissue. First type. It has a free surface which faces either a body fluid or the outside environment. So as the name indicates, epithelial means it is the outer covering. So this faces either the body fluid, means inside our body it is lining or it is covering the internal side of our body, or outside environment, for example our skin. So it is facing the outside environment. Okay, it covers or lines body or body parts. For example, the liver, the covering of the liver is epithelial tissue, covering of the stomach, epithelial tissue. Clear? Here in the diagram you can see the cells are compactly packed with little intercellular matrix. Cells, if you see, those are compactly arranged, they are not loosely arranged. These are compactly arranged with little intercellular matrix. You can see in between the cells, little bit of matrix is present. There are 2 types of epithelial tissues, simple epithelium and compound epithelium. Simple means it is single layered, compound means it is multi-layered. Simple epithelium, it is composed of a single layer of cells, and where it is present, it lines body cavities or any ducts in our body or any tubes are there. So it covers those ducts and the tubes. The simple epithelium is further divided into 3 types, and those are squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium and columnar epithelium, depending on the shape, squamous, cuboidal and columnar epithelium. Squamous epithelium, it is a thin layer of flattened cells. If you see in the diagrams, the cells are flattened with irregular boundaries. If you see the boundary, those are not equal. It is not regular, irregular. These squamous epithelium, it is a thin layer of flattened cells with irregular boundaries. And where these are found? Found in the walls of blood vessels and air sacs of lungs. So there you will find this simple squamous epithelium. So what's their function? It forms a diffusion boundary. As I told, these are present in the blood vessels. You know, in the blood vessel, the exchange of gases is taking place in between the blood vessel and the lungs, air sacs. So both these membranes should be very thin so that it can diffuse. From the blood, carbon dioxide should go to the air sacs, and from the air sacs, oxygen should be diffused into the blood. So for this diffusion, the squamous epithelium cells, which are forming the simple single layered epithelium, are very helpful. Cuboidal epithelium. As the name indicates, the cube shape. If you see the diagram, the cube shape cells are there. It is composed of cube-like cells. Where it is found? Found in the ducts of glands and tubular parts of nephron. Nephrons are present in the kidney. Kidney, it is made up of the millions of nephrons. So nephron, it is a tube-like structure. So what's their function? Secretion and absorption. They are secreting whichever the waste material are there, they are secreting into the kidney. From there, through the urine, it is released out. Secretion and absorption. Absorption means what? In the urine, if any water is there, any useful salts are there, then they are getting absorbed. So who is helping there? Cuboidal epithelium. So secretion and absorption, that is their function. The epithelium of proximal convoluted tubule, that is PCT, of nephron has microvilli. Microvilli means these are arranged into the manifold. In the nephron, you will find the microvilli. So in the diagram, you can see the cube-like cells. You remember the structure, that is cube-like cells are there, and their function, that is secretion and absorption. That is enough. Next, columnar cells. As the name indicates, column-like, columnar. It is composed of tall and slender cell. You can see in the diagram, tall and long cells are there. Their nuclei are located at the base. At the base, the nucleus is present. Then the free surface may have microvilli. In some organs, the free surface, if it is there, it is having many foldings. Those are called as microvilli. In this diagram, it is not there. Okay. Then where these are found? These are found in the lining of stomach and intestine. In the lining of stomach and intestine. And what's their function? Secretion and absorption. Similar here. They secrete the hormones to digest the food. So they are present in stomach, intestine, and for the absorption of the digested food. So that is the function. Secretion of hormones and absorption of digested food. So who are helping there? The columnar epithelium cells. So these are the three types of simple epithelium tissue, that is squamous, cuboidal and columnar. Now we will move to the compound epithelium. Before going to the compound epithelium, one more point we are going to study, that is modification of columnar or cuboidal cells. So here we will find two modification, that is ciliated epithelium and glandular epithelium. If the cells bear cilia, cilia means the thread-like structure. In the diagram you can see, if cells bear cilia on their free surfaces, then it is called as ciliated epithelium. So where these are present? These are present in the inner surface of hollow organs like bronchioles and fallopian tube. Bronchioles in respiratory system, fallopian tube in the reproductive system. Okay, there these cells are present having cilia. Then what's the function they are carrying out? Their function is to move particles or mucus in a specific direction over the epithelium. So these cilia are moving, and what they are doing? They are transporting or they are moving the particles or the mucus in a particular direction. So they give the direction to the mucus or to any particles. In fallopian tube, that is the movement of egg. So for egg, these cilia are helping for the motion or the movement of that egg. So these are called as the ciliated epithelium. The second modification, that is glandular epithelium. So some of the columnar or cuboidal cells, they get specialized for secretion, and those are called as glandular epithelium. So they are mainly of two types, unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular consists of isolated glandular cells. In the first diagram you can see one cell is there, and in that a single isolated gland is there, secreting gland. For example, the goblet cells of the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal means digestive system. So here the unicellular, in the cell a gland is there. It is unicellular. Then multicellular, it consists of clusters of cell. In the second diagram you can see clusters, mean many groups are there. They are forming the cluster or group. So it is multicellular. So unicellular and multicellular. Multicellular, for example, that is salivary gland. So clusters are there. So these are the two modifications, that is glandular. First one is ciliated epithelium, second one is glandular epithelium. Now, based on the mode of pouring of their secretion, okay, some cells are there, they do some, they produce some hormones or enzymes. So these hormones or enzymes are how they are secreted, how these cells they are going to secrete these hormones or these chemicals. Depending on that, two types of glands are there, exocrine gland and endocrine glands. Exocrine glands and endocrine glands. So first one, exocrine gland, they release secretions through ducts. So duct like structure is there. In first diagram you can see small two line like structures near the eye, those are the ducts. So through these ducts they are secreting their secretion. So exocrine gland secretes mucus, saliva, earwax, oil, milk, digestive enzymes, etc. So all these are the secretions from the exocrine gland. In the next diagram you can see you can see the epithelial cell of a sweat gland. A duct like structure is there, tube like structure is there. Through that tube like structure they are secreting their secretion. So these are the ducts, these are the glands with ducts. So those are called as exocrine gland. Clear? Then one more is endocrine glands, means ductless gland. They are not having the tube like structure, they are not having the duct for the secretion. No ducts, they produce hormones. So whatever the cells are there, the cells they release directly their secretion into the blood. No any duct is there, duct is absent. So ductless gland, the secretion is directly poured into the blood. So exocrine glands and endocrine glands, these are the two modifications of columnar or cuboidal cells. Now we will move to the compound epithelium. We have finished the simple epithelium. As the name indicates, compound epithelium is multi-layered cell. It is composed of multi-layered cell. In the diagram you can see it is not single layer. Many layers are there. So only it is called as compound epithelium. And many layers are there. So they have limited role in secretion and absorption. If single row is there or single layer is there, then easily the secretion and absorption will be taking place. But here multi-layered is there. So less role, it play less role in secretion and absorption. Then where this compound epithelium is present, they cover the dry surface of the skin, the moist surface of buccal cavity, that is mouth, in inner part of the cheeks and all. So this buccal cavity, mouth cavity, it is lined by the compound epithelium. Then pharynx, inner lining of the ducts of salivary gland and pancreatic duct. So all these ducts they are secreting the enzymes. Their inner lining is made up of compound epithelium. Clear? Then what's their function? They play very little role in the secretion and absorption. So their main function is protection against chemical and mechanical stresses. So that is the main function. They are involved in protecting the other cells from chemicals and any mechanical stresses. Now we are going to discuss one more important point, that is cell junctions. So all the epithelial cells are functionally and structurally are connected to each other. So how they are getting connected with each other? So here these cell junctions are helping them to get together. So which are these cell junctions? Tight junctions, adhering junctions and gap junctions. Okay. So what do you mean by this? The diagrams we'll see in the next slide. First, that is tight junction. It helps to stop substances from leaking across a tissue. From the tissue, it will not allow any substance to go out. That is called as tight junction. Then adhering junction. It performs cementing to keep neighboring cells together. It is joining the two neighboring cells, cementing. How we join the two bricks with the cement, like that. That is adhering junction. And gap junctions. Here it facilitates the cells to communicate with each other by connecting the cytoplasm of adjoining cells for rapid transfer of ions and molecules. So here in between the two cells a channel like structure is there. They are connected with each other by a tube like structure. Their cytoplasm is interconnected, and for transfer of the ions and molecules these channels are used. So that is called as gap junction. In the diagram you can see that. In this diagram you can see the first one, that is tight junction, the below diagram at the left side, tight junction. So here you can see how tightly the cells are arranged. So that tight junction, whatever the substance is there inside the cells, it will not leak through that tight junction. So that is called as tight junction. Then the above diagram, that is adhesion junction. You can see the two cell membranes are there, and this adhesion junction, it performs the cementing to keep the neighboring cells together. Both the cells it is keeping together. So it is called as adhesion. And third one, that is gap junction. In the third diagram below one you can see. It facilitates the cells to communicate with each other. The pores, you can see the protein channels. So through this channel one cell is connected to another cell through the cytoplasm. So these are the three junctions: tight junction, adhesion junction and gap junction. So this finishes the epithelial tissue. So today we'll stop here. We'll discuss the next tissue, that is connective tissue and muscle tissue and neural tissue in the next lecture. Thank you.